Hey guys, this is HITTHEPANDA here, and today we're going to be doing a live session of $12 180 mans, and I'm registering for some 36 180 mans as well, but they're not really filling fast. I'll probably get one or two in, but we're just going to start out a session here and try and go over spots along the way and give you some examples of maybe some shoving ranges and whatnot. But right now we're just going to be, like I said in my earlier videos, just going to be playing really tight and not going to be worried about it. Just going to try to conserve chips and start shoving on people when we blind down. And I'm just going to keep registering for these as we play, because variance happens, and I hope you guys can see these okay. Got a little bigger maybe. Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna try and talk a little bit more, I guess, so there's no massively dead gaps and silence, but I'd like to talk about something important if I do. But right now there's just not much to talk about. We're just kind of playing really tight, and we're just going to play our strong hands for value, and we're going to play them really fast and expect to get paid most of the time regardless of how tight we're playing. These are just going to be some extra tables on the side that you see here, just kind of popping out. I'm probably just going to check shove here. I could get called by a worse 6 or like pocket 5s or any random thing, and as long as he doesn't have a set or a straight, then I'm fine with whatever he calls me with. But he didn't bet, so I'm just going to check again, and then if he bets I'll probably call. I think it's probably unlikely he has a 5 here, just because he probably would have bet the flop when checked to with the most 5s that he has in his range, like 4-5, 6-5, 5-3, 5-7, probably bet that flop. But he could have an ace or a flush draw, so I don't know, maybe he just checks back the ace. So this is just kind of a thing where I don't really expect people in $12 180s to be bluffing too often, so I'm just gonna fold. But yeah, I just think he probably checks back an ace a lot on the river on that board, so at the same time there could be a flush and other random crap that he bets for value, so I'm just going to assume he's not bluffing and fold. Just going to fold queen 10 there, not even going to open if it's suited. I'm pretty much just playing premiums only because it works. And there's still plenty of dead money in these as well. If you're going to be grinding these for bankroll or whatever, I mean, you have this guy limping 11 big blinds in the bottom right here, and I'm sure there's, even though everyone says there's a lot of regulars in these nowadays, I mean, I'm sure there's still tons of regulars that aren't as good or are spewy regulars, so I don't see it as a problem if you're going to put the work in to know the shoving ranges and all the spots, and when you can start min-raise stealing in the late stages to get some antes and whatnot. I mean, there's definitely room to be the top of the percentile of grinders who grind these things, and regardless of if you're the top percentile or not, you're still going to be able to print money if you're doing a solid strategy, in my opinion. And so we're still pretty much just folding. Got another pop up here. Throw it over to the side. And we got ace queen here. I'm just gonna 2.5 exit. These guys limp. I'm just gonna shove. I don't really feel like having them up call or anything, and it's okay. Just shove here in a 12-180. It's really not a big deal other than making it like 250 and calling. So I'm just gonna shove and save myself the hassle. Just don't really want anyone calling behind, maybe like getting any kind of idea, and then having to check fold when my hand is just gonna be fine to get it in after there's two people limp. Just gonna register for some more. Okay. And I'm just gonna fold the a6 here in the small blind. I might raise it in a tournament depending on the player in the big blind. I'm just gonna fold 7s here under the gun. Once again, I would probably raise 7s there in a tournament, but here I'm just gonna play really tight. I'm expecting to get flat at a good portion of the time that I do raise. I mean, I don't play these regularly, but I assume there's still plenty of people who are just playing bad, and I don't want to get in guessing games trying to c-bet and pretty much not wanting to double barrel, because it's going to be spew against a lot of people in these because they're just not going to fold. So that way, because of that, you can just pretty much play premiums and then fold down and out, push fold people pretty much. And going back to a6 in the small blind, that's not a spot I really want to get into out of position with unsuited ace. I'd probably raise it if it was suited, but it wasn't. Here, I'll pull this over if you guys can see it. It's just a limped pot. I could have led. This guy checked, but I didn't. And I'm just going to lead if it checks to me again. I'll just make it pot. Oh. Yeah, and they just folded. Fold the queen 10 suited there. I'm just going to shove this ace king again. If there are antes in, I'd probably shove it in, but there's not, so I won't. And we get caught, or no, like I just had 2 big blinds or something. I'm just gonna fold king 9 here, even if it folded to me. It's an unnecessary spot. And I'm just probably gonna set mine here with 9s if someone raises. And I'm just going to open myself. Oh, sorry, I forgot that this was off screen. But just opening 9s on the button down there. We do get called, and I'm just going to do a little c-bet and fold if there's any action. Honestly, I could just give up here, but I think there's going to be enough pairs in his range that he's just going to bet the turn with, and I'll have to fold if I do check behind. And 8s, I will just 2.5 exit here. It's kind of borderline, to be honest, but I'll still just open it. I'm sorry if my voice is a little like nasally. I just seem to have kind of a cold this morning, but I'm gonna try and work through it the best I can. not a problem, other than my voice, it seems like. And A6 offsuit is not a shove there, even with antes in. It's just too much. A6 offsuit is not a good hand in general. You know, even blind versus blind here, without antes, you're still shoving a lot just to get 150 chips. You've got, if it folded to me, I would have had a 10M in the small blind. And that's, you know, equivalent of like 20 big blinds, usually. Even a little bit more, sometimes 20 to 22 big blinds with antes in. So, I mean, you can kind of relate to what people are shoving with like 20 big blinds and under when antes are in, to that same stack size without antes in, to what you should be shoving and calling. But plenty of people aren't shoving correctly with like 10M pre-antes, but you can still shove plenty wide, you know, any ace, a lot of kings, any Broadway, suited connectors and stuff. But you definitely shouldn't go too crazy, depending on the stack size, of course. And yeah, this guy's playing Queen 9 offsuit from one off the hijack. He's professional. I'm just gonna fold because that guy's limp. I probably would have shoved it if it folded to me with the Queen 9 there. Here I am just gonna complete. I got a decent amount of equity, and this guy could have like anything, so I think it's okay when I'm not really worried about getting pushed out of the pot by the big blind or anything like that. He overbets here, 200. I think I'm just gonna make like 500 and just get it in. It's a 12-180 is my reasoning, and he could have anything, I guess, here. And I flop top pair, so I think it's good enough. Fold Queen 9 because this guy keeps limping, and that guy folds after overbetting, so that's great. Fold Queen 6 suited. Fold Queen 8 suited there. This guy limps the hijack. I think I'm just gonna end up jamming it on him with the 4s. I think he's just gonna fold a large amount of the time, and I'm not gonna win the pot very often at all if I check the big blind. And he ends the folds. I will be shoving the King Deuce suited if it's folded. Arm's getting to be around 7 here, blind versus blind. Suited King is certainly good enough in that range. And I'd be shoving stuff here like 8-10, probably 7-10. I think 6-10 is a little bit borderline. And like any kind of connector, suited connector, stuff like that. Any Broadway, any suited king, probably any unsuited king as well, to be honest. especially in a 180 man, where you should probably adjusting your shoving ranges to be a little bit wider because people just aren't going to be calling this wide. That's just what I'm assuming. I will be shoving this Jack 10 if it's folded to me on the big blind. And we did get that nice little suck out there, so it'll take some run good. Gonna be folding the King Jack off here on a gun +1 in a full ring game. I think it's just a little too early, even with our small stack size. We get called by King Queen, bottom or top right. So hopefully we can hit a Jack or a 10. We hit a 10. And good game, sir. And I'm just gonna fold the 7-9 suited. Sorry, here I'm just gonna register for another, throw on the side. Okay. And I'm gonna bring this spot up just to show you. I opened pre-flop here with Ace King, and I got 2 callers, and on this board I'm just never gonna bother c-betting. There's just no point. It's not going to be profitable, and you should try and conserve your chips. And even when the queen comes out, I mean, I'm not going to try barreling it and then barreling the river like I might in a tournament. I'm just going to give up. And just fold the river. Okay, we're looking to shove pretty soon here in the bottom left with 5 big blinds. And we definitely will be doing that with the A6. But now I'm going to fold. I don't think his range without antes in is going to be okay for us to get an inverse. Fold the Queen 5 as well. I will definitely shove here if it's folded to us. This guy overshoves like 28 big blinds. I'm just gonna get in with the Ace King, and I'll fold the King 6 now. Oh, I'm sorry. Just pretty standard. This guy shoves, reshove, Ace King versus Jacks. And I won that race. I'll fold the 9-7 down there. And Jack 6 here is too loose to shove. Yeah, over 10M. There's just nowhere near enough in the pot. Jack 3 here. I'm not going to shove it, even though I have 5 big blinds. I'd kind of rather wait, even though, I mean, I've got to get through 4 people without antes in. I don't think it's like a definite shove or anything, even though I do have 5 big blinds. I'm just going to fold. If it was suited, I would have shoved it. But unsuited, I'm just in it. Here, if this guy would have folded, I probably would have reshoved. This guy shoves a little less than 3 big blinds. 9-10 suited is getting plenty of decent equity versus his range. So I just would have just reshoved it. Try and isolate the dead money. Would have shoved this if it folded to us, but it didn't. And I'll fold the 7-10 here. Just hoping in a spot here before the blinds go up, we lose a lot of fold equity. Sometimes that's the way it works out. But usually you should just try and get your chips in with some fold equity before you lose it. but we get ace queen, where we'd be shoving pretty wide in the first place, so hopefully we get called by a little lighter. And this guy, I'm gonna shove 8 big blinds here, but if it was like a regular who I knew was calling pretty light, I might fold. But this guy raises the button, and I'm gonna fold anyway. And we win a race down here versus 4s, so that's always nice. And we just busted the side one, lost the race. No big deal. It's pretty standard. Fold the 9-4. Here at the ace-10, it's definitely way too much to shove. If there were antes in, I would definitely not mind shoving. And I don't really feel like min-raising. Someone could flat me, even with these stack sizes, or if someone could just shove on me, and I don't really want to call with ace-10, so I'm just going to fold it. And here I'm definitely going to shove the ace-queen. Okay, now we got antes in on these 2 tables on the left. And I'm gonna shove this 8-7 suited, even though we are under the gun. I think it has enough equity, and I'm gonna get a good amount of credit anyway from shoving under the gun. And we end up losing a good amount of fold equity going through the blinds. So I think it's okay. And we flush it. And 8s gets a nice little flop. But now, like, when it gets to these stages, I mean, your game pretty much just consists of, is the hand profitable to just open ship, and you determine that by what's in the pot. You know, there's 550 in the pot, my M is a little over 3, I'm shipping like any broadways, any suit connectors here, any like 9-10 here, 8-10, just a lot of stuff, and you need to be able to realize that at any point in the tournament what your M is. And it's also nice to shove and then bink a 3-outer, but that's some advanced teaching right there. And we'll fold the 6-3 suited. And we get aces. I think I'll raise. Min raise. I'm just gonna shove. I mean, I think he folds a good amount of the time to the shove, but I'm just gonna do it anyway. I would hate myself if I min raised here. Just gotta hope someone thinks I'm light shoving on the min raiser or the limper, but they all fold. Oh well. I could have done something tricky, like since it's a 12-180, and maybe like limp behind. I mean, none of these people know who I am, I assume. But oh well. Certainly is not bad to shove there. If it folds us here, we'll shove 4-5 suited in the small blind. And it does fold just down there. Sorry, let me just register real quick. And we're going to shove the 4-5 suited. We've got 8s on the button. We've also got 8-6 suited here. I'm going to shove the 8-6 suited. these guys, against people who are calling correctly, it might be a little bit too wide. But against these guys to my left, I think it's fine. I wouldn't go much lower here than 8-6 suited. We got in against 5s up here, but he flopped the set, so that's unfortunate. Oh well. 10-9 suited, I'm going to fold it. If I was hijack, I'd probably shove it. It's just going to be a little bit too late to shove. This is not a fold, sorry. I'm definitely going to shove that if it folds to me, and here I'll shove too. Once again, if it wasn't a 12-180 and I didn't think people were calling too tight, I might fold the ace-5 offsuit on the button there if I thought I was just getting called pretty wide. But I think it's definitely fine to shove in that spot. And we got 9s top right. It's pretty much not much. I mean, this guy is 3xing, but I'm still gonna get it in against him. I've got 5 big blinds. Just gotta hope he's got something that we beat or race against. He's got ace-king, so it's the ladder, and we are still ahead on the flop. But not anymore, and we bust that one. I'm going to shove the ace-3 suited here. I'd shove any suited ace, definitely fold if it was not suited. Go ahead and bring up this other tournament. And I'm going to shove the king-queen as well if it folds to us. And I'd be shoving like ace-10 here too. I think queen-jack, it might be a little bit too much to shove. And queen rebink, nope. It's unfortunate. But like I said, there's a lot of variance in these. I will shove this queen-4 suited. Queen-jack suited down there. I think I will shove that. That's fine with me. If it was one more position down, I'd probably fold it. It might be a little bit wide even from that position, but once again, in 12-180, people are going to be calling pretty tight. I'm just going to fold Jack-10 off screen, sorry. Not a big deal, it's just on the button, but no need to raise. Here, I'm just going to fold actually the ace-4, 20 big blinds. If it was a little less, I'd shove. I could have raised folded there with ace-4, but decided to fold. Get aces versus kings for a nice little comeback after the race lose. And we will shove this if it's folded to us.